Hey guys, this is Brian Mounts. I run turfmechanic.com and the Turf Mechanic YouTube channel, and today I'm coming to you with two of the nicest battery powered lawnmowers on the market today. This is the 2020 model year of the EGO Select Cut. It's the 21-inch self-propelled with their big 7.5 amp hour battery. This is the Toro 60 volt recycler. It runs on a 6 amp hour battery, and this is just about one of the nicest mowers that you can get as well. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because these are very comparable lawnmowers. If you want to go into the battery powered lawnmower market, there are lots of cheaper options. Nothing's particularly dirt cheap, even on the low end, but once you get up past about $300 to $400, those 40 volt machines kind of segue into these more premium models. These I would consider to be some of the strongest battery powered mowers on the market, although I wouldn't consider either of these to be the strongest. I've got a few other videos. Some of my subscribers have already watched them already. If you're not subscribed, please do take a look at my archive. There's some other videos where I compare these to some of the bigger machines out there. There's 80 volt, 82 volt machines. There's Sunjo makes 100 volt. Yard Force makes a 120. Those are monster battery mowers. These, I'm going to call them baby monsters. These things are very, very strong, very, very capable in the most normal settings. When you just have regular lawn that you take care of regularly, you know, it's not overgrown, you're not mowing it in the rain, you're not dealing with like weedy brush. These are great. The vast majority of people are going to find that either one of these is going to cut the grass just as good, if not better, than any gas-powered mower out there. You need a very large yard for either of these to expel the whole battery and not be done. I have personally used this on my yard, and my yard is small here. I do have large kind of yard space. I call it my secondary yard. I have stuff up the hill over here, and I have stuff down the hill over there. They're kind of more field-like, and I only cut them down every now and then. But my real yard space, what you see here where the kids play, this is about 2,500 square foot. I have mowed this yard space with this machine 2 times consecutively on the same battery and still had probably 30 to 40% of the battery left. At the end of the job, I might have been able to do it a whole third time. I didn't try. Now, I haven't done a similar test with this one. It is a 6 amp hour battery instead of a 7.5, so it might not go quite as long, but it's still probably going to be able to get through 5,000 square feet and then some, all on one charge. These batteries these days are amazing. The Toro has 4 little lights here. You got a nice little handle, you can swing it around, which is nice. It charges quickly. This battery, weirdly enough, even though it's bigger, 7.5 amp hour, this thing charges even faster than this. I don't even know how they do it. This thing charges about as fast as any battery that I have tested. And I've got 7 battery powered lawnmowers in my garage right now. So these things are fantastic. I feel like this mower is like a standard lawnmower. In fact, the deck for Toro, it's the same deck that they use for their regular Toro gas powered mowers. It's the same. They've got, here, let me turn it around. They've got a clean out just like on their regular deck. It's steel just like on their regular deck. If you flip it over, I mean, it's heavier. I mean, it's not heavier than a gas mower, But for a battery mower, this is one of the heaviest battery mowers you got. The blade itself is a little bit, physically it's thicker, so it barely flexes at all when you tug on it, which is great because if you're going through like a really thick patch, you don't want the blade bending and flexing. So this thing is strong. Now, having said that, the EGO Undercarriage, flip that around here. The EGO underside is smaller. Toro, this is a 22-inch recycler. If you measure the blade from like tip to tip, it is 21 and about 5/8 inches. This, although you've got this dual blade system, that's what makes it the Select Cut. You've got your standard blade, and then you can select either this one or a kind of a mulching blade that you can put on there. But basically it's this double pattern. This allows it to mulch better. But the tip to tip is only 20 and about 1/8 inch, which means the diameter of the cutting path of the EGO is about 1.5 inches narrower than the Toro. Basically, the Toro is going to cut something like, I don't know, about 8% more every pass. Now, this mower feels like a very robust battery mower. Now, earlier I said this feels like a traditional lawnmower. It's slightly louder than this. It's slightly heavier than this. The deck just looks like a lawnmower. This looks like a, I don't know, like a futuristic machine of some kind. This mower, not only does it just kind of look a little bit more futuristic and it's lighter, it comes with more creature comforts. It's got cruise control. This has cruise control, but they're totally different ways of using them. This machine, even at max speed, is a little bit slower than this machine. So here's another thing. I mean, if you've got a yard kind of in the 3,000 to 5,000 square foot range, you're going to cover more ground with this with every pass, and at full speed this thing is going to travel faster than this. Basically, from my estimations, is most people are going to finish mowing their grass in about, I don't know, about 85 to 90% of the time of this. So let's just throw a number out there and say you'll be probably done with an average size yard about 5 minutes faster with this. I think that this is going to be fine for the vast majority of people, and it's actually slightly cheaper than this one. It's not a big difference, but I mean, I personally bought both of these, and I did pay a little bit less for this one than I did for this one. Both of these, I'm pretty sure, are available at Home Depot. I bought this from Home Depot. This one I also bought from homedepot.com and had it shipped. I think some of them are probably available online, Amazon, and a number of other places. If you shop sales, pricing is always going to change, and your expertise in finding the good deal will also come into play. But on average, I think you're going to be able to find this one a little bit cheaper, and I think it's going to do just as good, if not better, than this one, simply because you've got the bigger deck. And the bigger deck means that as the RPMs are about the same, because all of these battery mowers are about 27 to 2800 RPMs, the wider width of that blade means the tip is spinning at a faster miles per hour. So if I like clip that, and then if I clip it faster, which is what this one does, it's just going to cut better. It just is. So, and that's what I've found. The power is about the same. I mean, you're talking 56 volt and a 60 volt, so it's about the same voltage. The watts running through it, they don't really advertise, well, which one is it? This one, they do advertise it. I want to say it's a little over 300 watts. I'll have to look that up, maybe throw it into the video description here, but from usage, let's get away from numbers. From actual usage, I don't feel a difference at all. Most of the battery mowers, and these two specifically, have some magic involved in them. They can sense how thick everything is, and they're both kind of the same. So once it hits like thicker turf or like weedy stuff or tall stuff, it senses that it needs to pull more power from that battery to get that blade cutting through whatever it is you're cutting through. They both rev up once it hits hard stuff, and they both kind of push through that hard stuff similarly. Of course, if you're going through really thick stuff or wet stuff, or you know, like woody, weedy kinds of stuff, you'll go slower. And I'll do the same thing with both mower, and you go slower. You don't necessarily want to bog it down, or certainly you don't want to stall it. I've never stalled this one, although I've never tried to stall it. This I have taken through really thick, weedy stuff, and I have gotten it to stall a couple times. So this is not gonna go forever. Like it's crazy strong for a battery mower, but you can overload it. But you're not going to do it if you're just tending to your yard regularly. It's just not going to happen. I've never bogged it down in this grass here. I feel like the strength is a non-issue. These things are very, very comparable. It's mostly creature comforts. That's your biggest difference. It's pricing. This one is probably going to be slightly cheaper than this one. This one is probably going to mulch a little bit better than this one, unless you start getting into like really tall, thick, harder stuff. And then I feel like this one is going to do better simply because that blade is the tip speed of the blade is going faster. The RPMs are about the same, but the tip speed is just going to be faster. So the select cut on this, if you choose the EGO that has the select cut, because you can get a stripped down model of this blade is great. And you get two of them. Like when you buy it, you literally get two blades that you can choose from. You can swap them out if you want to do bagging or mulching, or you just want to like swap them out so that you can get one of them resharpened or whatever. You've got that option. This just comes with the one. I think the creature comforts, aside from the price, are really going to want to set these things apart. This guy has a, let me turn it, make sure you can see. This little thing right here, when it's up, you are mulching. There's like, it's not a plug that you see in other mowers. Most mowers have a big old plug that you stick in there when you want to mulch. If you want to bag, you have to remove that. With this, you want to put the bag on and then push that down, and now stuff will go into the bag. If you push this up, the little trap door closes, and now you're mulching again. It's fantastic. It's a piece that you don't have to remove. Every other mower that I have, and virtually every one that I know of, I can't even think of another one that has something like this. Like they all have a plug they have to pull out and store somewhere. I hate that. It's not terrible, but I do hate it because then you got like this clunky plug that you've got to find a place for in the garage. It's like this until some lawnmower company figures out a way to have that go up and just stay up. I mean, that would be awesome, because right now I have 7 lawnmowers and I have 6 side discharge little funnels that go up there. I say I have 6 because this one doesn't offer side discharge. So creature comforts, it's easy to go from mulching to bagging with the Toro. You can side discharge if you want. This, you can't side discharge at all, obviously. You've got the mulch plug, which is kind of annoying if you're going back and forth a lot. They both store very easy. You just kind of do that, and you turn it, you do that, and you pick it up. You can store it vertically. The EGO is virtually the same, arguably easier, but not by much. And you just pick that up and boom, they're all stored. I think they're both kind of similar in ease. And they obviously kind of do it slightly differently. I almost think that one might be slightly easier because you don't have to fiddle with these guys. But it's a close call. The biggest, I guess I should point this out. Toro has this ignition switch safety mechanism. You can't turn it on when this is off. So it's safer from kids. It's also more risky because you might lose that. Most people probably just keep it on all the time. I know I do, and I even have kids. But anyway, that's the personal pace. This is what everybody who's a fan of Toro raves about. I mean, if you like Toro lawnmowers, you love the personal pace. That's my experience. The personal pace basically means that when you're mowing, it will go when you just push into it. If you push into it a little bit, it will go kind of. If you push into it a lot, it will go faster. It goes at the speed that you are walking and pressing into it. Now, people love that. Now, you notice this is not going when I push it down. This will only work when you engage the blade. Then it goes. On the other hand, this will go even when the blade is not engaged. I really, really like that, especially for me because I have hills on my property. This is like the flat backyard of my house, but I have big hills and I don't like having to have the blade engaged just to be able to move it around the yard. Now, certainly I could push it and it's not that heavy, but after I mow an acre on a hill and then I turn the thing off, maybe not an acre, that's excessive. After I mow my big hill, I usually turn the blade off and then I just push it back to the garage with the button. I do love the button. People, I think this is an underappreciated thing. Most self-propelled mowers, this one's got the personal pace kind of suspension lever here. Most mowers have a second bar, so that's like the engage bar, and then there's another bar for self-propelled. This one that gets the blades going, but this has a button. The button is the self-propelled, which is pretty unique. I like it a lot, mostly because when you've got a second bar to hold, for one, it becomes less comfortable, and two, if you let go of the bar, like if you let go of a second bar, you got to really reach to grab it for some of the mowers. The button is really, really easy and convenient, and it's much more comfortable to use. The speed gauge here is also very easy to use. You can turn it all the way off, or you can get it faster just by dialing that. And of course, as you're going, you can just do it right there with your thumb. It's very simple. So it's not the same simple as this, but it is simple. And quite honestly, I do prefer this over this, mostly because this machine, this whole personal pace system, when you get to the end of a row, you let go, and then you try to turn the machine, and everyone who turns the machine pushes it down. You have to raise the front wheels up. But to do that, you're pushing this thing in a little bit. And when you push it in a little bit, the rear wheel drive kicks in and it takes off on you. Now, lots of people say you just got to get used to it. And that might be the case. And I've been using this for about 2.5, almost 3 weeks now, and I am getting used to it. But I still prefer this better. So I do prefer the regular style self-propelled features that are common in this lawnmower and many of the others. Greenworks 80 volt, Toro, or I'm sorry, the Snapper 82. I've got the Sunjo. These things are normal and comfortable, and they make sense. And what I do like also is that I can operate this mower with just pushing it. I don't need to use the self-propelled. That's important when I'm going around things like this. I don't want the self-propelled when I'm going through small little spaces or around my kids' playground. This machine, literally, you can only use it with self-propelled. There's no way to use it on just a standard like push feature. To me, that's a big thing. That's a big usability factor. I mean, I'm not mowing a huge rectangle with nothing in it. I'm mowing a lawn that a family uses. I have slides and swing sets and jungle gyms and irregular planter beds, and my fence line isn't straight. I have to be able to move and maneuver the lawnmower in the best way for me. And the personal pace auto drive system here is just not convenient for me to use in this yard. So anyway, that's my comparison of these two. I don't want this video to come off as saying one of these is better than the other, because really they are they're very similar in good. They're both very good. You're going to find a lot of people prefer this system over this system. You're going to find a lot of people prefer the feel of this over this because it is bigger and heavier. A lot of people are going to prefer having that longer battery, the bigger battery. Even though this is 60 volt, this will go up to 7.5 amp hours. You're going to be able to get more runtime out of this. You're going to like the faster charging out of this. I mean, shoot, even the wheels are different. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not sure why I care, because I've got a nice little soft lawn space, but there's probably people out there that just really want or need bigger wheels. So anyway, the choice is up to you. I do recommend other mowers over both of these, honestly. If you're looking for the strongest mower, I've got a video coming out very soon on literally the strongest mowers on the market. Just kind of comparison of them all. Neither of these two are at the top of that list. They're all in it, but they're not at the top of the list. And I have my own mower that is not one of these two that I prefer over both of these. So make sure to take a look at some of my others. I've got a playlist out there. You can just subscribe and you can see them as they come out, or just go back into the archive. And if you really want to know kind of like details, nuts and bolts in a more organized manner, I've got over on my website, if you were to Google Turf Mechanic strongest battery mowers, you will probably find me somewhere there on the first page, where I compare all of them in great detail. So make sure to check that out. Hit the like button if this is helpful. And if you enjoy videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. Thanks a lot.